Will the valuables in this bag survive? Hello, Mastertron Tamer here. I've got a fun test for you. We're going to actually field test something. So a lot of people have the need perhaps to try and protect some documents from fire and other things. And there are a bunch of products out there. Traditionally, there are strong boxes and fire safes, which are usually have a burn-through rating of anywhere from, say, 10 to 30 minutes, depending upon the product. And there's a new thing out that I wanted to take a look at. So this is according to the piece of paper here, a fireproof document bag. Now, even the people who make fire safes and fire boxes don't call them fireproof because, again, how long can it keep fire away is the bigger question. This particular product looks fine. I'm not trying to say anything negative about it, but I just don't know what it can do for us with it being as small. But we're going to find out. We're going to put this baby in a fire and we're going to see what happens. If I remember right, this says it has something like a 5,000 degree Fahrenheit rating. Okay, what does that mean? Practically nothing. What temperature it can survive isn't the question. The question is for how long. The whole purpose of a fire-resistant device is to save the things inside of it until the fire can be put out, because nothing is truly fireproof. So saying it's 1,000 or 500 doesn't matter. How long can it do that for? So let's say it can. Let's just cut it down into a more reasonable number. Let's say it can do it for 1,000 degrees. It can protect what's inside of it. Again, I'm using Fahrenheit scale. If that's only for 1 minute, that's not going to do us much good. When they say it's good to 5,000 degrees, sure, put it in something that's 5,000 degrees for 10 seconds. Maybe it could survive 10 seconds, but again, that's not useful. So if you're curious about what temperature things burn at, documents and paper, well, if you read one of the most important books in the mid-20th century, Fahrenheit 451, the book gets its title because it's about book burning, and that's the temperature at which books burn in Fahrenheit. So that's the kind of our target temperature. Can we survive a fire of at least 500 degrees for some period of time without the contents being damaged significantly? So that's what we're going to actually test. So it has both a Velcro closure and a zipper. And then that brings us into the fireproof part of the bag. Now, if you look inside of it, you can see that is does look like that's fire retardant material, like what you would make a fire suit out of. So it's going to give us some fire resistance. I just don't know how much. On the front of here, there is a code that talks about what it can do in a fire. Well, the particular one that they're quoting here doesn't really tell us anything about survivability. This particular code down here is one for if the material itself drips off, will it extinguish itself within so many seconds? So that doesn't really help us because that doesn't tell us what's going on inside the bag. So, anyways, inside there's a series of little pockets, and I hope you can see those, where you can put your various valuables. So let's go ahead. Let's load this up with some things that you might actually want to put in your fire-resistant bag. So here, most people want to try and keep their passport safe. So that would be something to put in there. Now, it's not, I think there are rules against actually burning a real passport. So for this experiment, we have got a movie passport here, and this is of my dog Harley. So this will be her passport that we're putting in the bag. Yeah, and I wish it opened up more so you could see in here better, but if it opened up more, that would not be good for the fire resistance. So there are wider pockets on the left and narrower pockets on the right. So I'm going to, well, my left. So I'm going to go ahead and put our pseudo passport in there. And this is a pretty good facsimile. Like I said, this is a movie prop. And it's even got the plastic feel on it. So that'll be good. I want to see how that works. Okay, that loaded up. So another typical thing that people want to try and protect perhaps are maybe some important photographs you have. So again, here's some pictures of Harley. Let's go ahead and put those in our bag. Let's see if they'll fit in one of the pockets. Ah, they will. All right, so I've got those in one of the pockets. Credit cards. I didn't want to put an actual credit card in here, but this is one of those ones where you get a credit in a store. That's a pretty good facsimile. I'll put those in one of the side pockets here. Another thing that you might want to protect, maybe you have important certificates. So let's put a certificate in our bag. All right. Just about got it loaded up, but some people might also want to put some money in there. So again, movie money, not real money. I'm sure there are laws against burning money deliberately. We'll be putting money in there. And then finally, the last thing we want to put in there, we'll put in some actual coinage. This is an actual silver coin. It's 1 ounce pure silver. We'll put that in there for our test as well. Put it in one of these little pockets. Okay, I know you can't see in there perfectly, but now I've got that all loaded up. So the next step will be to zip it. Well, I have really opened the zipper maybe too far because I've been trying to show it to you. So it's fighting me on the closing. So that's one little tip to know. Be careful how far you open the zipper. Okay, so I got it closed and then put the Velcro on top of that. So I'm going to go start up a fire, make sure it's up at least, let's make it way beyond the catching point of paper. Let's make sure it's around 800 degrees. And we'll pop that in there and we'll see how long it survives. Now in an ideal world, what would be nice that it would go all the way up to the 30 minutes. And if it looks good in the test, like it's not melting, for instance, and it looks like it's not getting too damaged, I'm going to go ahead and let it go. But if I let it go too long and everything inside has been destroyed, then I haven't really done a good test of how long it could protect things. So what I'm going to do is I'll put it in the fire and we'll put a stopwatch on it, and so I can time how long it's been in there. And if I see that it looks like the bag itself is getting damaged, I'm going to assume that the contents are in jeopardy, and I'm going to end the experiment. I'll have a hose on standby. So when it reaches that point, if it looks like it's going to start getting things damaged inside, I will douse it with water. We'll just say the fire department has arrived. And I'm hoping that will be for a significant amount of time that this could help protect things. All right, let's go. I'm going to go out and get that fire set up, and we'll put this baby in the fire and see what happens. Okay, everything is cooled down now, and it's time for the big reveal. So, just so you kind of see how it turned out, this is the one that we did our test with. Here, I'm just going to, for a moment, put that side by side with the new one so you can kind of see the difference. Pretty dramatic. Amongst things that have happened, we've lost the logo information. This is why I decided to pull the test when I did. This was starting to unravel, and it looked like it was going to be compromised soon. The same is true on the back. This seam was coming undone, and I think we were getting close to a burn through. It might have still been able to go a little bit longer, but like I said earlier, I wanted to have a test where things survived enough that it made sense. So we made it just over 10 minutes in the test, and that's actually respectable for a product like this, but we'll know more when we look inside. So I've been teasing you long enough, so let's go ahead and take a look. So, not too surprising, the Velcro was one of the first things to go. So this, as you remember, has both a zipper and a Velcro strap. And it's the Velcro which failed for sure. And like I had thought, you can see some heat damage here even on the inside of the flap. So yeah, we were probably just about at the limit of what this thing could do. Let's go ahead. I am really curious if there's anything left, basically, of the zipper. I have no idea how hard this is going to be to get into. I just had to cut the little string that was on the zipper pull off because it had melted into the flap. So, yeah, it was definitely peeling up. So let's see what we've got with the zipper. Oh my goodness. I am a little shocked that we have any zipper function. But I got the first couple of inches to go. And then I think I'm in the material that's been melted and it won't go any further. But again, that's not a horrible result in my opinion that it got that far. So it's actually delaminating as I pull on it, and hopefully you can see this up above, what we've got going on in here. And this is pretty much what I had expected. So here is some of our money. So just for reference, this is what it looked like when we started. Nice, huh? Depending upon where it was in the bag, it is significantly burnt or at least charred. Now, in the US, in a situation like this, if you recover money and it's got at least the serial numbers and other parts of it are recoverable, it's a lot of paperwork, but the government will actually switch them out for good currency if it can be identified that this truly was what we think it was. And I think, though I'm no expert on that subject, that given that these are more than 75% survived of the paper, the government might be able to reissue those for you, which would be nice. Some of these other ones would be a harder sell. I think they want to at least be able to make out things like I mentioned before, the serial number. Okay, so money not so much for our test. Ooh, I've got some bad news for my dog. I think this was her certificate. So had this been a birth certificate, not so good. So that was a problem. Let's see what else we've got in here that may have survived. This is another piece of the certificate. Now in the US, I'm going through the right paperwork channels, you can get a birth certificate reissued. The little seal survived, but much of it is charred. So that probably could be replaced too. I realize there are places in the world where it's harder to get a birth certificate replaced. And I've got some more money in here. Let me pull this out. Yeah. Money to burn. So, again, if you didn't watch the first part of the video, this is movie prop money, just to give us a comparison. All right, I put some other money underneath. These are what's left of the little pocketed area of it, and I put some money underneath there too. So I'm going to get that first and see how that fared. So, not so good. I think the back of that bag got pretty hot. This might not be recoverable. And let's see what else. Anything else back there? I'm going to have a little bit of a mess to clean up after I pull this all out of here. I do want to get it out. All right. Couple of things I wanted to see here, and I am going to have to cut that out to get it out. Give me a second here. Because I want to be able to show it to you. All right. So, these were the smaller pockets where you would put credit cards. And there is the remnant of one of the plastic cards right here. So in no way could we say that that survived. That was a fail. Okay. Let me see what else we've got here. Okay. So our ounce of pure silver, it did survive. We didn't quite get to the melting temperature of silver probably in the fire. It was pushing over 1,000 degrees when I was measuring it. So basically more than double the temperature that paper and things destroy at. But we've got a little smoke damage on our silver coin, but that's it. It would clean up really nice. That wouldn't be an issue. And that's it. Boy, let me see if I can show this to the camera, overhead camera, just what a mess this is of what's left of this bag. All right. So, what are my thoughts about this? Not only is it not fireproof, unfortunately, I was pulling for it to have some resistancy. In a good fire, we couldn't even go 10 minutes before we had significant damage to everything. Like I said, the certificate, we can read a little bit of it. All the money is charred. And there's one more thing in here that was important. I'm not sure I can get it out, but I'm going to try. That was our movie passport. All right, so did this survive at all? Well, I'm going to open up. So I was a little bit worried about this because to make these wear longer, they have lots of plastic components, and those do indeed look like they were damaged. Could this be used? Well, I'm going to go try and find the ID page. Now, if I had more time, I could be more delicate with this and perhaps save even more. So, yes and no. Some of the ID page would be readable. The top looks like it is melted right into that photograph and not survived there. But looks like enough of this where the number would be survived, and some of the back pages survived if you were looking for your old Visa stamps. Those survived. But yeah, obviously not usable. But the government will reissue one of these. Like I think I mentioned before, I think you're not supposed to deliberately burn one, but in a true emergency that you had nothing to do with, I'm sure they'll reissue those if you pay the appropriate fees, and you would at least have your number information there that you could do that. Oh, and there's one more thing, that maybe there's nothing left of it, and that's why I didn't find it. I put some photographs in here. So I've kind of lost track of what everything is because of the state of stuff. I think they were just under the passport, if I remember right. Yep, here they are. Oh, my poor pictures of Harley. So hopefully you can see that. I could just about make out her nose and eye on one of the top ones. Now there are methods for recovering photographs and other documents that have been burned. Certain things you can soak them in. It's kind of outside of the scope of this video, but it is possible that some of these photographs may have been able to be recovered, but it is pretty much a melted mass together. I'm assuming that in the photographic material there are some plastic components, and that's what, yeah, it's a brick. It would be interesting to soak it to see if they would come apart. So, should you buy one of these bags? Well, they're very cheap compared to other things. And I think I would have got a completely different result, say, if I'd gone 5 minutes with the bag. The contents might have stayed, excuse me, the contents might have stayed safe enough that in that situation. So, at least it offered some protection. I'm sorry I'm coughing. I think it's about the smoke. So I'm going to pretty soon get out from under all this. So, yeah. I don't know. I think my burnt money looks even cooler burnt. But because you would never know it wasn't the real thing. So anyways, it'll give you some protection for at least, I would say, 5 minutes or so. It was at about 8 minutes in when I started seeing the exterior of the bag around the seams and stuff looking to me like they were starting to get compromised. So I think 5 minutes, things could have survived much better. And I wanted to tell you a quick story before I let you go. When I was a Cub Scout, so that was a long time ago, somebody in our pack actually had a house fire, and people thought that it would be educational for us to come see the result. It was just a small tract home in California, and when when we went to go look at it, the fire department had gotten there pretty quickly. Most of the structure was saved. Anything that was out in the open, furniture in particular, total loss. However, in the closets, particularly the one that sticks out in my mind is the linen closet at the end of the hall. The door still worked, and everything in there was smoke damaged but had survived. And this was some of the few possessions that they had left because those closets were closed. That closet was closed during the fire. So if you took a bag like this and gave it the extra protection of perhaps putting some blankets or towels or something on top of it in a closed closet, I think it could survive a fire. I think that would give you the 10 or not the 10 minutes, but the 30 minutes or so to make sure that the fire department had gotten there and put out the fire. They're fast, but they can't get there in 5 minutes. So this bag wouldn't have made it. Wow, that was one of my funnest experiments yet. So if you have any thoughts about this, about how I did it or anything else, I would really be happy to see those comments. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. Please like the video. If you'd like to see me test other things, torture test them in this kind of a situation, please feel free to leave me a comment. And I'll see you in my next video.